You never feel alone at the Menger, no matter where I was in the hotel. I always felt like I needed to be looking around to see who is watching me or who is with me.
I am not talking about hatchets flying through the air and heads falling off and things such as this. No. All of a sudden, you might go around the corner and see a figure that is moving directly in front of you and then see it also disappear.
I knew we had seen something. There was no question.
My ghost story began 33 years ago when I went to work at the Menger. The Menger Hotel in San Antonio, Texas, is a 151-year-old hotel. I am the director of public relations.
Two friends and myself wanted to get away for the weekend, so we drove to San Antonio. The Menger Hotel is legendary. It's almost on the grounds of the Alamo. Supposedly, there have been sightings of Teddy Roosevelt and various other people that haunt the Menger. You just really feel like you've stepped back in time. It is very, very charming, very quaint, and you just feel history there. When we walked into our room, I was really overcome. I felt dizzy and lightheaded, queasy. I really needed to get out of that room. So my friends and I walked around a bit. There's a veranda around each story where you can look up to the beautiful stained glass ceiling. We took numerous pictures, and then we went down to the original lobby area. We decided to go to the ladies' room before we left for the evening. We opened the door, and there was a housekeeper. She was backing out of the closet in an odd way. My friends and I, we excused ourselves. We said, oh, we're in your way, let us move. And she didn't speak to us. She didn't look at us. She just acted very unusual. And we said, well, she was kind of creepy, wasn't she? And that's all we thought about that situation. So we went out for the evening, and when we came back to the room, we felt very, very different. My friends felt something too, there's no question. But it seemed to be more intense for me. It had a very ominous feel to it. There was just something in that room, some presence there that was making me feel this way. I really thought, I hope I can make it all night in this room. But my friends were really excited about being there, so I thought, you know, I can do this. I had a restless night, didn't sleep well. I was afraid. I felt very grateful when daylight started to come through the windows. In the morning, we went into one of the gift shops in the hotel. A very nice lady was attending it. And we said, you know, we've heard this place is haunted. Have you ever had an experience here? And she said, well, you know that restroom right around the corner there? And we said, yes. And she said, well, one night when I was working late, I opened the door and there was a maid standing there. And she was wearing unusual attire. Well, she described exactly the person that we had seen. She asked the maid, are you a ghost? And the maid said, what do I look like? And she said, I just left, I was afraid. My friends and I, we looked at each other and we were just stunned at the thought of that might not have been a human being, flesh and blood. So we made a beeline right back to that bathroom. And as soon as we walked in, we heard a lady sneeze. And then we checked to see who else was there, but there was no one else in that bathroom. We were pretty startled by all of this. So I found the man that's in charge of guest relations. And I told him about our experience with the maid. And he said, oh, you definitely saw Sally.
Sally White was a very attractive lady, a maid who worked there in the 1870s. She was married to a fellow who was always accusing Sally of men making passes at her, and she was perhaps cooperating with these passes. So he had threatened on several occasions to kill her. He came over to the hotel one particular night and he had a gun. He shot her 3 times, and 2 days later, Sally died. The hotel management buried her at hotel expense and paid $32 for everything. And I really think that her spirit was moved so much by this that she continues to come back to the hotel.
I returned home, and I had a picture turn up that was very odd of a mirror in a hallway outside our room. You could see a woman's face in that mirror. It was very clear. My son-in-law said, "Well, who is that?" I said, "I have no idea." There was no one out there at all but us. It's a great big open space, and there was absolutely no one there but my friends and I. I was overwhelmed, and so I called Ernesto Malacara.
She asked, "Who is this woman?" She called me.
When he received my picture that I sent him of the mirror, he was so excited. He said, "I know who this is."
When I saw that, you know, I nearly fell down, because that is the face of La Condesa do Bari. Years ago, when I first got to the hotel, we had a bust of La Condesa do Bari, a woman of means during the French Revolution. This bust stood on a table, and directly behind it was a large oval-shaped mirror. About 1982, all of a sudden the bust disappeared. And I really don't know to this day what happened to it. But it stood in front of that same mirror on the first level. And I remember that the minute that I saw the face in her print, I had the copy in my desk, and I mean, it's just absolutely amazing.
He said, "You know, even if an old mirror could capture an image of something that's been in front of it for a long time, it would be the back of the head. It wouldn't be the face." And he said, "I really think that maybe something was trying to tell you about this tragedy of losing this bust." To have seen a full-body apparition and to come back with a picture of a woman in a mirror when I knew there was no woman there, it's frightening to think I was that close to all of that. I could feel my heart beating so much almost out of my chest when both of those things were presented to me as this is what really was going on. It gives you a lot to think about, and it's really hard now to say, "Oh no, there couldn't be such thing as ghosts." I don't see how there can't be.
Long after we're all gone, I firmly believe that Sally and the Contessa and others will be at the Menger. This is their home. And there's a strong possibility that one of these days when I'm no longer here, that I may come back and make a few apparitions myself.